Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to give you tips, pointers, and some new information so you can score better at the Sunfish Midwinter Championship and also the Sunfish International Masters held at Davis Island Yacht Club in Tampa, Florida. But before we get to the video, I'd like to thank all the subscribers who have supported the channel. It's been growing nicely. So if you could please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate it. Many people assume that they could just pull up to a regatta, set up their gens rig, go race, and they'll finish wherever they finish. But the average sailor doesn't realize that the top sailors are really prepared. They know answers to questions like, what is Appendix V? They'll know what color is the mark when they change course. I bet you that they will definitely know what the finish line looks like and where it's located. And even how to buy a drink at the bar. So I will go over in this video all the answers to these questions and to help you score better in this regatta. Today, the sailing instructions came out and were published, and they are available on the website, and I'm going to leave a link down below in the description. One thing I really want to make my point across is that I am not the official for the race. I'm not a member of the race committee, and if you can make the competitors meeting, you should. This is not a substitute for the competitors meeting. An important thing that you should know if you're competing in the Masters or the Nationals down at Midwinters is that there is not going to be a traditional competitors meeting at the regatta before the racing. There's going to be a schedule of 2 Zoom meetings. One is Sunday, March 7th at 1900 hours on Zoom, and that'll be for the Masters. And the next one for the Nationals, which is open event for people who register for the Midwinters, is Thursday, March 11th, also 1900 hours on Zoom. The sailing instructions that I'm going to be going over has been released to the public on March 3rd, so any other sailing instructions that you may have read or come across, these will be replacing those. Some people are chartering boats and some people are borrowing boats. So there's a description in the NOAA, the Notice of Race, Rules 1.4, which states, in accordance to RRS G3, a boat chartered or loaned for this regatta may carry national letters or a sail number in contravention of her class rules. What basically that means, if you are chartering or borrowing a boat and the class numbers are not in accordance to class law, that's okay, because you're probably not going to take off your loaner boat's numbers. I don't think they'll appreciate that. So on number 6 of the NOAA, it says under measurement, the boats and equipment must be compliant with current international Sunfish class rules as approved by World Sailing, and boats may be selected for measurement at any time during the regatta by ISCA, chief measurer, or an appointed representative. We got word from Rich Chapman, who's the ISCA president, that the class rules will be allowed at the Midwinters and the Masters Midwinters. So really the new class rules are 3 of them. It's 1, you can use a digital compass. 2, you could use a 2-to-1 main sheet setup. And the 3rd one is a halyard retained by a mast line. I made a video about this, and I'm going to put a link for those 3 things that you can do to your Sunfish, and they will be legal at the Midwinters. There is a 4th thing that has been inadvertently added to the class rules, and that will be scrubbed, and that is the weight limit of 121 pounds for a hull. So if you have a boat that's less than 121 and you haven't done anything really crazy to alter the boat to get lucky, like Paul Odegaard has a 102-pound boat, you're kind of like lucky that you can have that one. Okay, just to scan the Notice of Race is 11.2. If you have a support boat, a coach boat, or someone who's going to be hanging around the race course, I'm not going to go through all the rules for support boats. However, you must register with Davis Island Yacht Club prior to the first competitors meeting on the first day of racing and fly a flag with a number provided by the OA. You need to leave a $20 cash deposit. If you're getting any value from this, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be trying to bring out some more information as I get it. I'll try. For further information, you could contact these people. I will leave a description down below. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I will get you the answers. One other thing that's noted in the NOR, which is going to be very important to all the competitors, is that a food and bar service at Davis Island Yacht Club is available for takeout only. And no cash. The bar is takeout only. Going to go over the sailing instructions 1.2 right on the top. Appendix V is the alternate penalties will apply. If you don't know what the alternate penalties are, that means if you do a foul like a port starboard, windward leeward, you hit a boat type of thing, if it's outside the mark zone, then all you have to do is a 1 circle penalty with 1 tack and 1 jibe in the same direction. If you break a rule, part 2, port starboard, etc., if it's within the zone, then you will have to take a 2-turn penalty, which is tack jibe, all in the same direction, or you want to do jibe tack, jibe tack. That's up to you. So that is the Appendix V. Now let's go down to signals made ashore. If there is a signal made ashore with the AP flag, which is the cat in the hat, red and white striped flag, if it's on shore on a flagpole, the 1-minute rule to get out to the race course is not less than 45 minutes. So it basically buys you time. And headed down to number 5 is the schedule for races for Masters. I'm going to do it Masters first. The Masters, there's a practice race on Sunday, March 7th, and that's at 1400. And then there's the competitors meeting on Sunday, March 7th at 1900. The first day of racing for the Masters is Monday, March 8th, and that starts at 10 a.m. March 9th, that's Tuesday, 10 a.m. And Wednesday, March 10th, also 10 a.m. And no race starting after 1400 hours. Now, to help the schedule, they actually wanted to get the team race in. There will not be any practice race for the Nationals at Midwinters. It was originally scheduled for Thursday, March 11th, but there is no practice race for the Nationals. The Midwinters will start its first race on Friday, March 12th at 10 a.m. They'll continue Saturday, March 13th at 10 a.m. and Sunday, March 14th at 10 a.m. There's going to be 4 races scheduled each day, except for the last day. There's 3 races. They also can sail an extra race each day as long as they don't get ahead by 1 race in the schedule. So if I'm talking too fast, please tell me down in the comments below. I'll try to do it as best as possible. And 5.2, to alert boats that race or the sequence will begin soon, the orange start line flag will be displayed with multiple sounds approximately 5 minutes before the warning signal is made. And they're going to use on the race committee boat the class flag, which is going to be a pink Sunfish logo on a white background. Now, continuing with the sailing instructions, the courses 7.1. The diagrams in attachment 2 show these courses, including the approximate angle between legs and order they're going to be passed. If a gate mark, which is 2S or 2P, is missing, the remaining mark shall be left to port. So if we go over these courses in attachment 2, we have Whiskey 3, which is a windward leeward, Whiskey 4, which is a windward leeward, and a Whiskey 5, which is a windward leeward. The 3, 4, and 5 designate the amount of legs. And to do a trick, any odd number course is an upwind finish. So Whiskey 3, Whiskey 5 finishes upwind. And there's always going to be an offset mark after the windward mark. And there's usually going to be a gate unless one floats away or they move the gate. If it's not an odd number like Whiskey 4, W4, the finish line is downwind and there's going to be a reach to the finish after the gate. and that reach will be towards the port side, heading downwind. So the main marks, the windward mark and the 2 gate marks, are going to be large orange tetrahedrons. The windward offset mark, which is mark 1A in the diagrams, will be a small orange ball. And if there's going to be a new mark, it'll be a green tetrahedron, and the starting marks will be race committee vessels displaying orange flags. And the race committee vessels will also have a blue flag. And the finishing marks, this is really important because sometimes it's hard to find the mark. The finishing marks will be a race committee vessel displaying a blue flag and a yellow tetrahedron. So the sailing instructions number 9 is the start. This is very important. It's going to be a 5-minute start. That's rule 26, where you have the warning at 5 minutes, then the prep at 4 minutes, then the prep down at 1 minute, and the start at 0. And just so you know, if you're going late to the race course, if it's after 5 minutes after the start, you are going to be scored DNS, so don't even bother the race if you're 10 minutes from the start. There's going to be individual and general recall flags may be displayed by the port and starting vessel. The port and starting vessel are going to have flags. Those are not official flags under our Racing Rules of Sailing number 29. The timing of the port boat flags or the lack of these flags shall not be considered grounds for redress. So basically, don't 100% rely on the flags on the port boat. Even though the race committee is really good, they are not the law in this situation. When I first started racing, my friend Ted Kramer says there should always be 2 questions I should ask at a competitor's meeting, and this one addresses it. The start 9.4 is, the question is, are they going to be calling out sail numbers for OCS boats? They will not hail the sail numbers of boats that are OCS. They may broadcast them over VHF, but it's only for a courtesy and not for the competitors. They're also going to post the sail numbers of the boats being given a starting or finishing penalty of that current race on a board. If there's an error, it doesn't mean you can get redress. So tough luck. Don't start wrong. If there's a need to move a mark or move the gate, they will lay a new mark and they'll remove the original mark as soon as possible. The finish, this is really important because sometimes it's a little confusing with everything going on, and there might be 7 different boats, 10 different boats out there watching everything. The finish line will be between a staff displaying a blue flag on the race committee vessel and the course side of a yellow tetrahedron. The race committee is going to have target times for the race. They're going to try to get about a 50-minute race, but there is going to be a time limit for the race of 90 minutes. And there's going to be a time limit to get to the first mark. The first competitor needs to be there in 30 minutes. If no one passes that windward mark in 30 minutes, the race will be abandoned. Now, if you are still racing, the first boat finishes, and you finish longer than 30 minutes after the first boat finishes, you will get a penalty of a TLE, which is time limit expired, without a hearing, and that means you will be given the number of finishers plus 2 points. There's also a lot of rules about protests. I'm not going to go over that, so if you want to go and look at the description and read the items for protests and redress and do that on your own time. Now for number 15 is safety regulations. So when you go out, you can't just start racing, you have to check in. And this is for safety. So each boat shall check in by sailing past the stern of the race committee signal vessel on starboard tack, hail her sail number, and obtain acknowledgement from the race committee. And boats that fail to do this may be scored DNS. So make sure you check in, and if you stop racing before the last race, then notify the race committee as soon as practical. There's actually a telephone number you can call. So if you're sailing around and you're looking for an official boat, the race committee boats are going to be flying blue flags with the letters RC, and the safety vessels will fly the Romeo flag, which is a red background with a yellow cross. And to keep Tampa Bay nice and sparkly clean, if you have any trash, just throw them on a support boat or an official vessel, so you don't have to leave it sloshing around in your cockpit. So that is my summary of the sailing instructions for the Masters and U.S. Nationals at Midwinters for 2021, being held at the Davis Island Yacht Club. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comment section. If you got any value from this, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and I'll see you in Tampa Bay.